think we need to know about you? Let me just ask you that.
Okay. Well, that's a good question. Let's see. Well, one of the things is I think that people need to know is that I'm definitely consistent in what I do and what I bring to the table as far as just being able to deliver from a barber's perspective. So
So you say you're from Columbus, Ohio,
yes,
and you mentioned the barbershop that you grew up going to.
yeah.
You said the layout was really nice too. So what about the layout really like stood out to you?
Pretty much, it was more of the fact that definitely the cleanliness in the shop, the conversation, even the decor as far as color. I think sometimes when you bring certain colors to certain environments, it kind of brings a safe place. So for myself, because my mom, like I said, used to just drop us off over there. And apparently the barber knew exactly what type of haircut that I was going to get because I had been going to him. So, and it was like that type of environment where she felt comfortable. And I wanted to create a comfortable, family-orientated environment. Yeah.
Right. So that's been your mission since the beginning, to create a barber shop environment where people just feel safe to do what exactly?
To feel safe and to be able to have a place where people can actually, guys, women, children can actually come in and not feel like intimidated or threatened or feel like, oh, they can't have that conversation with their barber. So I wanted to build relationships, you know, because I think that that's what goes a long way in being a barber, is once you actually build relationships, because those relationships becomes generational wealth. Because if you started cutting little Johnny's hair, for an example, and then you was cutting his father's hair, and then his grandkids, and then et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
How did you even get into being a barber? Like you always wanted to, you loved the environment, you thought, I want to create this environment for other people. So what was the spark that actually got you like behind the barber chair, or got you started in that direction?
It was my mother who actually inspired me to do it. It was more the fact that I guess she saw the potential in me. I just didn't see it, you know, and she was telling me, you do good. I think you'll be good. And I was like, I kept questioning, kept doubting, not understanding what my purpose was. So once I actually picked up a pair of clippers, and I don't know what it was like it was like a connection. So once I had that connection with it, then I started doing some of my friends in the neighborhood. And once that started, then the confidence for me started building. And it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah. When you cut your friends in the neighborhood, did you charge them?
No. 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 And it was more of the fact that people were able to trust what I was doing. You know, I'd be like, man, let me give you a haircut just to see. You know what I'm saying? Plus, it helped me to build my skills, especially when you're dealing with certain type of hair textures. You know, because not everybody has the same type of hair. So, of course, that helped me.
So you get that, and you build your confidence up. You say, I can cut all these hair textures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now it's time to start making money. So
Right.
So when did you decide, like, I need to, like, did you go to barber school or?
Actually, I wanted to go to barber school, but that wasn't the case. I actually did like an apprenticeship, which means that you can go into an actual shop and get up under the actual owner of the shop's license and do it that way. Now, it took probably about 4 years plus, but it was hands-on. So, yeah. But, I recommend if you wanted to go to school, do the school, but if you already have the skill set, see if you can find somebody that you trust to go up under the license. I was in my late 20s, when I started doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you finished that 4 years, what was the next step for you after that?
Just pretty much branding myself to get to the next level, whatever that next level was. But I've always would hear my mother say, whatever you decide to do, be the best at it. And just put all your, focus on what you're trying to achieve. So every time doing that, hearing her, that just kind of motivated me to see, okay, let me see what the next step is. Yeah. Yeah.
So did you rent a chair after that, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it in the same barber that you were apprenticing with?
Initially, it wasn't. It was another shop at first. And then things kind of went south at that shop. So then I ended up going to another location. And once I went to that other location, being around a couple other barbers, just kind of watching their styles, their techniques, and that kind of helped me as well because I had been cutting for years, but I hadn't had that official document or license. You know what I'm saying? So, and getting that license is like a weight off your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, okay, you can do this, then, what's the next? It's almost like cat and mouse. You know what I'm saying? You chasing this and chasing that. And then once you achieve that goal, then you're like, okay, what's the next goal? Yeah.
What are you able to do with the license that you couldn't do before you got it?
Well, for me, it says who you are. And that you took the time out to get the requirements that it was recommended for becoming a barber. So yes, that was it was a hurdle at first because I took boards a couple times and didn't do it as well. But then I was determined, so I was like, let me go back.
So were you in a chair, got your license, and then kept going, or did something change for you after that?
So how the process works is once you take those boards, they'll submit a letter to you, and that will indicate if you passed or not. It was like a relief once I received it. At the time, then I was able to go. I was already in a shop already, but that just solidified everything that I was working so hard for. So that just made everything like, okay, we've done it. There's nothing out here that I can't accomplish. And that was the motivation for me to keep pushing. And I wanted to see exactly how far that it will take me. Yeah.
How old were you when you finally got that letter?
In fact, I was 31.
Okay.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by 31, did you already know, like, I want to have my own barbershop, I want Anthony's barbershop to be popping, or?
I never really imagined myself actually being an owner. It was more or less, let's just take it one day at a time and see how it goes. Now, working in other shops, they've taught me the ins and outs of ownership. So, and it just felt like maybe this would be something I might be interested in doing eventually, but never even thought about it actually owning until one day I just kept envisioning myself with my own shop. And what did that look like to me at that point in time was a shop that would bring a family-orientated, a safe place where I have all different types of clients. And yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because as an entrepreneur, it's almost like you create a safe space for others who are seeking to get their own start
Yes.
in whatever it is their career will end up being. You kind of provide that space for them to grow, and like you have guys that cut. So was that, were you thinking that, or was it all just same place for the families, or were you thinking, I also want to help these other guys have a place where they can do their business and get a start?
I was going to say it was probably a combination of the two. I've always wanted to be around like-minded individuals who have goals and aspirations, who is determined for success. I think that definitely helps, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what makes a shop successful.
Off camera, you talked about how you really have an interest in men getting together and speaking to one another. There's always been this kind of stereotype of a barbershop where sometimes barbers ain't even cutting hair. They're too busy talking to each other.
Right.
Is that helpful? Is that a helpful part of being a successful shop owner, is having guys that can communicate with one another?
Yes. I think it's much needed, to be honest. And the reason why I say that is, as a man, there is so much that we carry every single day on our shoulders. And when you're able to come to an establishment and to be able to release some of that, I think that's very therapeutic, and it's much needed for men. Yeah.
Did you have somebody that really did a good job at that with you? Like when they cut your hair, they gave you maybe some examples of how you were going to be?
Yeah.
So tell me about that person or those people.
Now, I've always went to older individuals, even like working next to people in the shop. And the reason being is because it was always, what's their story like? And to hear the struggles and the challenges that they would go through, I just kind of took their information and was like, we have something to discuss.
Right.
And that just kind of helped me to kind of open up a little bit and express how I felt. So it's always good to be around, older men. Yeah.
Like, when were you just like, I'm done with this. I'm done with renting. I'm trying to own something.
So I used to have a lot of people say, man, when you gonna open up your own? Well, I was like, huh? It was like, man, you have the skill set to do it. When are you gonna do it? And I was like, no, I don't know, because my understanding of opening up a shop is you have to do your research. You know what I'm saying? It's all about location. And trying to find the right location was, of course, that field set me a few times. And I was like, man, I ain't ever do it. But then I was like, yes, you can do it. So it was just, the light bulb just kind of went off one night when I was sleeping, and it was like, do it, just do it, just do it. And that's when I was like, okay, I can.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your mom, how your mom always told you, like, just to keep going, just to, focus on what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So, was that always a motivation for you, even when it came down to opening up your own shop?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Because the books that I used to read individuals who were successful in becoming whatever they needed to become. My mom used to push me articles to read this book, read that, and I'd be like, well, I don't want to read that. However, the more I kept reading it, the more I kept digesting it. And it helped me to overcome some of the fears that I would have. So yes, she was my number one cheerleader that helped me to get to where I am today. Yeah.
So, in terms of having a barbershop, what are the key elements? I mean, you need a location, you need barbers, I guess, unless you're the only guy in the shop.
Right.
But so how did you start to piece that together?
It took time because the thing about shops is you're going to have certain barbers that's going to fit, and then you're going to have some certain barbers that's not going to fit. You have to set the tone to your establishment. How you want your operations to run, it determines on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I came in every day being negative, 9 times out of 10, the environment is going to be a negative environment.
Right. Yeah.
So I had to change the narrative, and I've always wanted it to be something different. Over and beyond is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be just mediocre. I just wanted to bring something different.
Right.
And I think that helps me a whole lot.
So how did you land actually at this location?
Man, it was, I used to work down the street at a location, and it was like a suite. So, and I clearly heard a voice say, "Don't get too comfortable in this location."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Huh? Don't get too comfortable." And it was like, "Yeah, because you're gonna outgrow this." And I did. In a matter of 3 months, I outgrew it. So I was like, "Okay, and Lord, I hear you.
Right.
I hear you. Like, okay, so where am I going?" So one day, headed to the shop that I used to work at, I rode by this shop, because this is the way I would come. So when I just kind of rode, and I said, it'd be nice if I can get that spot right there. And then I can assure you, it was probably less than 2 weeks when the actual owner said, "You still interested?" I was like, "Yes." So I was working at 2 locations at the same time,
Yeah.
trying to get this up and running and still at my current location. So I would change hats. Like I had a different color jacket down there. I had a different color jacket here because what I was doing was trying to set the platform up.
Right.
So when people come here, they'll see, oh, the shop is open. Yes. So yeah,
Yeah. Nice, man. And how long have you been at this location?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. Now I want to talk about this for a second because you mentioned consistency numerous times in numerous ways. And so for you, from cutting the hair all the way to turning the lights on in the morning, you got a system.
In place. Yes. Because it helps you to be able, for me, to function smoothly. Even though you may have some obstacles that come in your way, but the steps are in place. You already got that down. So if let's just say for an example, if a client has to be somewhere at a certain time, and depending on your system in play, you know for sure that you're going to be able to have them out for that time. So that's why I do the consistency.
Of all of your attributes, right, from your personality to your entrepreneurship to your ability to cut, what do you hope is going to be the thing that takes you all the way? I mean, what are you trying to retire on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, retirement for me is standing behind this chair because I really love what I do. You know, because to me it's not work. You know, I don't feel like I have to come in a place where I don't enjoy what I do. And so for me, as far as retirement, if I'm 100 years old and I still gonna stand, still gonna cut. I still want to be able to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, I really love what I do. Yeah.
For aspiring entrepreneurs and aspiring, barbers, what was something that you just want to tell them, whether they just getting started, whether they've been in the game, What's something that you feel like they should know?
The thing is, never give up. You know, sometimes in life, it may throw obstacles. When you fall down, that don't mean that you have to stay down. Get back up, try it again. Because successful individuals, they had to fall in order to become successful. So it just goes hand in hand, but you just never throw in the towel. Just keep on inspiring. Whatever that looks like for you, just keep on doing it.
Nice. Okay. How you feel, man? You seem good. You seem like you got through it, yeah?
Yeah. Let's take a drink.